Hello, we're back with my creepy scare.
Nick, why are you interrupting me at the very start of the show?
Sorry.
Great start again. Welcome to Force 13's live update. My name's Nathan Foy and we're joined by many people, including Nick today, discussing the tropical situation primarily in the Pacific. The West Pacific right now is on fire with 3 typhoons active at this point. Simultaneously. One's about to make landfall in China, that's Linfa, furthest to the west. We also have Chan-Hom and Nangka. We're joined by Daniel, first of all. Hi, Daniel.
Hello, I haven't been feeling too good today.
Oh, disappointing.
Yeah, I've got a cold.
You didn't look like that earlier.
Pardon?
You didn't look like you had a cold earlier.
Well, I do.
Right, we've also got John. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine here.
Third night in a row.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for joining us.
No
and
problem.
we also have Nick's control room by the looks of things. I can see myself as well as everything else that he's doing.
Hello.
Including a floater image of, would that be, which one is that? Is that the Tropical Depression?
Yeah, that's 4E.
Tropical Depression 4E, which is active in the East Pacific. We'll be looking at them all in just a tick. Let me just load them up actually and we'll show you. First of all, this is Typhoon Chan-Hom, of course. Wind speeds 105 miles per hour. It's been like that for some time. You can see it quite clearly with the eye there. The eye's been gradually developing and clearing out as time's progressed through today and to an extent yesterday as well. You can see the very small Japanese Diato Islands, these 2 little groups here, the southernmost of which are being affected by one of the storm's bands there, and the bigger islands are not too far behind. Okinawa and the Yayama and Miyako Islands as well will be getting hit by this storm in the next 24 to 48 hours. There's a visible image, looking quite cool. The northwest side is probably the bit that needs the most improvement at the moment, probably. Don't know about that.
Eye is a little bit more defined.
Yeah, there's Linfa with its small eye there, about to make landfall in China. I mean, I think it's going to go for a landfall. If not, it'll be very, very close. Also, might be a threat to Hong Kong. That's a typhoon with winds of 75 miles per hour as well. There's Nangka, which is approaching the Mariana Islands, and this one could be an interesting one. It might pass right between that island or through that island chain. Typhoon warnings in effect there. That's a visible image of it as well. 140 miles per hour, Category 4 storm at this time. That's Nangka. 4E, a depression in the East Pacific, which we saw on Nick's screen a moment ago, and Invest 91C, which, as far as I know, still has a 60% chance of development. Has it risen or lowered? Still the same. We're also joined by Jason this evening as well, but he's having intermittent internet crises. Hope you are here for the rest of the show. Let's fingers crossed.
Oh, dang it.
Hopefully.
Yes. And I'm sure you'll have some comments on the storms as well. But you're more like our satellite technician, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, there we are. Straight in with the screen sharing. Fantastic imagery, by the way, from the very recent Himawari satellite, which was launched by Japan not so long ago, came into full operation recently. How did it actually, in fact, took over from the last one, MT-SAT-2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that happened, I think, yesterday or the other day. But you can see both storms there. That is, I think that's current, because daylight is falling over those storms now. John also has an interesting satellite link.
That's water vapor.
There, yes. And some dry air lingering to the north of those storms, but actually around them, not looking too bad at the present time. And behind that, not much really, until you get to the Central Pacific and 91C, which could well develop into another tropical storm. The models have been hinting at that for some time, at least some of them anyway. And as far as Tropical Depression 4E is concerned, it's sort of predicting... Actually, let's take a look at the latest map from the Central Pacific Hurricane Center for 4E. predicted to become a tropical storm for a time, not for a very long time, short-lived I'd say, and then weakening to a depression passing north of Hawaii and eventually becoming no more once it clears the Hawaiian Islands. Daniel, anything to say?
No, not really at the current present time.
Just because you're sniffling now, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got a
We didn't
cold.
hear any of that before we started the show.
I beg your pardon. Are you saying I'm lying?
Possibly.
Well, I'm not. Full of a cold.
Yeah, Jason just had a nice little radar image of the storm there, and I suppose you could argue it might look better than Cat 1 there. Don't you think? Pretty small though. That's a certainty.
Yeah. It definitely does look like it could be Cat 2.
Yeah.
Certainly on the radar, but I'm not quite as sold or impressed with it on the satellite view yet. So, and I don't think, to be honest, it will have time either, because landfall is in the not too distant future, or at the very least land interaction, which will cause problems. But now there's the wind shear map as well. Looking good south of Linfa, and little hints of possibly the storm curving around the island of Hainan and maybe surviving as it goes for round 2 over the South China Sea, perhaps. Who knows? And there's the other 2 storms as well. Chan-Hom, sort of a marginal environment. Could improve, I guess, but at the moment not so. Nangka is in a good environment to the northwest there, in particular, lowering amounts of wind shear, already low at the moment. A high band to the west, but I think it's too far to the west to cause problems for the storm, at least at the moment. There's another view on John's screen right now. Can you tell us anything from this?
Here's a long view at Nanfa. Looks like a quite compact system, just south
It
east
has
of
been, though, hasn't it?
southwest. Yeah, and also looks like it's been tightening up a little bit. Maybe I can zoom in on it a bit. Give me a second. Let me zoom in on it. It is looking a little bit more well-defined, satellite bill. It's looking a lot more defined right now. There's a small pinhole on it. It's not perfect, but it's definitely looking like a typhoon and not a tropical storm anymore.
That's Linfa on the left, yeah? You're talking about?
Yes. Yeah, that one, yeah. I'm just zoomed in a bit more on it now. Satellite does not want to cooperate.
No, I'm just loading up my own visible imagery on...
What I got here is IR4, infrared 4.
And there's Jason's image of, is that one Nangka? I think it might be. Yeah, I reckon so. Looking pretty good, actually, don't you think? Visible there.
Looking better.
So, what are your guys' speculations on the possibility of Nangka reaching Cat 5? Is it gone completely, or is there still a chance?
I don't know. It's tough to call, Even though people are saying, weather reports are saying that it could be a high-end Cat 4, there's still a slim chance it could be a Cat 5.
But look at those latest images. It's starting to look more impressive, don't you?
Yeah, it is starting to get more impressive, yeah. Yesterday it wasn't looking too good, but now it's looking a lot better than it was yesterday, so there's a chance.
If I'm not mistaken, it held on to Category 4 the whole time. I find that rather baffling.
Yeah, that is kind of baffling. It looked like it weakened to a low-end Cat 3, but it held on to Cat 4 intensity, which is...
Apparently.
Apparently. Put that in air quotes, apparently.
Yes, but great imagery from the Himawari there, from Jason. I want to see it for the rest of the world, but that's not likely, is it?
I can definitely see the thunderstorms popping up near the center.
Let me tell you what warnings we have in effect right now, because that's rather important. For Nangka, typhoon warning. Let's zoom in on this so you can actually read the text for yourself if you're interested. Typhoon warning remains in effect for the islands of Agrihan, Pagan, and Alamagan Islands, all on the Mariana chain. Typhoon conditions, including winds of 74 miles per hour or higher, are expected within 24 hours. Tropical storm warning in effect for Saipan, Tinian, and their coastal waters. Tropical storm conditions expected within 24 hours. Typhoon watch also in effect for the same areas. Typhoon conditions, as they say, still possible if Nangka deviates further to the south. I think we also have some warnings in effect for other locations, but I'll check that in a moment in relation to other storms. And this is an interesting image from Jason showing the other two storms in the Central and East Pacific, if I'm not mistaken there.
Yeah, that is an amazing picture.
And we'll also be looking at the model soon to talk about the possible Eastern Pacific development as well, which last I saw was at 50%, 60% in the next 5 days. Remains so. Two areas actually, one at 60%, one at 30% in the next 5 days. So that's interesting, though they are both at near 0% in the next 48 hours, so that remains to be realised. And no surprise there, nothing expected in the Atlantic in the next 5 days.
Graveyard! That's becoming a recurring gag, I guess.
I suppose so. Daniel, what do you think of the Atlantic inactivity?
Dead. What would you do if you woke up tomorrow and there was sort of farming in the Atlantic?
The Atlantic needs some defibrillation.
Yes, there's the latest full disk image, looking pretty good.
Oh.
Beautiful blue orb the Earth is.
Yep.
So not so many warnings in effect for Taiwan as what we saw yesterday. I know I've never shown a map of this before, but heavy rain advisories in effect for mostly inland areas and a sea typhoon warning offshore. But for most of Taiwan, I think they may be in the clear, at least for the time being. If Chan-Hom deviates to the south, then there may be more trouble for Taiwan, but this time in the north. As far as I know, Hong Kong and Macau both have Signal 1 standby alerts in effect, or warnings, whatever they call them.
See if I can get this loop going.
Oh, wrong one. That's the Great Hong Kong Typhoon.
What was that in, like, when was that? I don't know when that was.
Let's see what they're saying with the warnings in Hong Kong. Is it still... Yes, standby signal number 1 in force. Linfa, 290 kilometers east of Hong Kong, forecast to move west at 16 kilometers per hour in the general direction of the vicinity of the Pearl River estuary, which I believe is the one that opens up at Hong Kong, right? And it does say as well the observatory will issue the strong wind signal number 3 shortly, so we'll be seeing signal 3 warnings there soon. Daniel?
I've got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it possible for a cyclone to form within, for example, a large body of water beside the ocean, so it could form inside a lake, or is it a large enough water area for it to form?
Depends on 2 factors really. Not only the size, but also how warm those waters are.
Yeah.
I don't know what... This might be one for John and Nick to discuss, the Huron cane.
Yeah, it's a pun. Sure. They said some report. I don't know. Something said about a possible tropical cyclone over Lake Huron. I don't know. I gotta look it up. Give me a minute.
It was in 1996. There was a storm that formed over Lake Huron.
Yeah.
Some people called it a hurricane. I don't know whether it actually was or not. I don't think so.
Yeah,
quite similar to the Medicanes, I suppose they call it, in the Mediterranean Sea.
Alright. Let me look it up. Give me a minute. Yeah. I'm gonna mute myself.
But yes, image of Nangka there. That's as of, what would that be, 20 minutes ago? I'm liking it more with every frame, you know. It could well be a compact Cat 5 at some point. But we'll see.
Speaking of the Huron, give me a sec.
There's Chan-Hom as well. Getting pretty close to those Japanese islands now. And I'm sure there might be some warnings in effect there as well. Let me have a look.
Not the best picture I have here on my computer.
Oh yes.
Not the best one. That's what they call the Hurricane Huron or whatever. Hurricane whatever. That's what they called it. Yeah.
Do you have any opinion on that?
Hurricane, is it?
Doesn't look tropical to me, but it could be. I don't know. It's a one of debate. It's one of debate.
Well, hey, if anyone at home would like to debate, then let us know what you think of the Huron hurricane.
Yeah, they should take it to the chat room.
Or indeed any other storms that weren't officially recognised for that matter. We had an interesting one in the Southeast Pacific not so long ago. Jason will know about that one. Not sure whether you want to talk about it or not, or describe what it looked like.
No.
It happened, I'm rubbish with remembering what dates things happened. Was it about 2 months ago now? A small system that occurred in the South Pacific towards the east. A very weird place for formation. Just looking at the Japanese warnings right now. Ignore me. There's a nice visible loop from John there. Daylight arriving in most places in the West Pacific by now.
Still have no daylight on Linfa yet.
I think the first ones have actually come in. The first visible images of...
I might need to refresh this page.
Yeah, you might want to.
Give me a sec. Let's see if it changes at all. Yeah, they're in.
Yeah,
They're in.
there we are. There we are.
Definitely all three systems looking a lot better than they were yesterday.
They certainly are, and I don't think that'll last for long, because Linfa will go first.
Yeah, it seems so.
So yeah, a gale advisory is in effect for the whole area along the Okinawa, Amami, and Daito Islands. Further southwest, I expect it's similar to the other islands as well, the Yayama and Miyake Islands there. Further towards the southwest, and those are going to be the biggest points of impact, I expect, at least on Japanese land from Chan-Hom. And radar might be interesting as well. I'm not sure whether it might be appearing on the radar yet. Not quite. The storm's still out there a little bit. But we'll probably see it on Japanese radar before too long.
See if I can knock this back to me really fast. Let's see how far I can put this back.
Yes, so John, tell us how your weather is at the moment.
Yeah, let me take a look out the window, but I'm thinking it's kind of cloudy, kind of not. I'm not sure.
Very deep.
My windows are closed, to be honest, and my shades are down.
Kind of not.
Let me take a look, so give me a second. I'm gonna take a look.
Okay. Jason, I'm sure you've got something to tell us about your weather. It's cold, isn't it?
Oh, very cold.
What was your latest temperature? Daniel, what's with all the noise?
I'm opening the window.
What's your temperature in Australia over there?
Right now in Perth it's 1 degrees.
1 degree above freezing. And you were at minus 0.3 not long ago, weren't you?
Yeah, in the hills it's more colder.
Oh my word. Does this happen very often? Does it actually sink below zero ever? Or must it?
Yeah, it's very common to be below zero here in the Perth Hills.
You just don't associate, and from an outsider's perspective, you think of Australia as very hot and sunny, and it is most of the time, except in winter, in the Perth Hills.
You can get to like 43 degrees during summer.
Yes, that's in Celsius.
I took a look outside. It's looking pretty overcast over my location.
All right.
But it's quite warm. It's still 80 degrees here. It's still quite humid.
No
60%.
hurricanes that have just blown up out of nowhere?
Nope. Not like that one over the lake. No.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Well,
You can joke about that all you want.
indeed. Here's the latest imagery of the storms then. Visible imagery arriving over Chan-Hom and all the typhoons in the West Pacific. Chan-Hom, it's the models. The forecasts from a while ago. They're predicting intensification all the way and significant intensification. They still are, but I'm not sure if I can see this getting past Cat 2 or low Cat 3 now. What do you think?
Yeah, actually, not too long ago, I was watching on the Weather Channel here in the States, and they're saying that it could be a 140-mile-per-hour storm at its peak. But
Well, it could.
it could, but I'm kind of doubtful.
It's what they've been saying for ages, but it's just not getting there at the moment.
It's not intensifying. I mean, the pressure hasn't changed, even though the winds have increased a bit. But it's just, I don't know. You guys are thinking a little bit too much on this one. That's what I'm saying about the weather people who are predicting it.
But we do know the West Pacific. It's notable for events
it's the rapid intensification zone,
and that could well happen with this storm. We don't know yet. So people who might be in the storm's path, don't listen to us and think it's going to weaken, because it might not.
Just keep your eyes peeled. It could go either way.
Also, looking at Linfa, there it is, just about to make landfall on China. I'm sure there'll be some warnings in effect there somewhere as well.
We lost the eye. Invisible. I don't see the eye invisible.
It's an interesting one.
And there's
I'll load up some more IR imagery on that soon. And there's Nangka. I am impressed with that.
Its eye is really defined now.
You know, when an eye is, it's almost completely circular, which is certainly a good sign.
That's a sign of...
It has ragged edges and such.
Sign that it's probably going to intensify a bit more.
That is one to watch, especially if you're on any of those islands. The fact that it's a pretty small storm means that I think it's almost safe to say that the islands of Saipan and Tinian may be getting away with this one now. I think they're almost in the clear. Guam certainly is. So, good news for Guam.
There's also been some thunderstorm activity near the center a bit more. Like I said before, that's always a sign that the storm's getting its act together.
So here's some more infrared imagery on Linfa, and actually, I'm not sure what you think, but those latest frames show it sort of dying.
I guess so. It could also be going through some type of transition into an extratropical system, but we don't know. I'm not sure.
No, it won't do that there. Transition into a dead storm, you mean?
Probably that instead of extratropical, because they have to be up mid-latitudes, and I don't want to expand
look at
it
the way
all.
it's going. At the very least, you can gauge its direction and its movement and speed of that. And what, a few hours from landfall, not many, I would say, or at least a very close call with brushing along the coast of China, which won't do it many favours at all. And I think it will weaken quite significantly over the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty much what the forecast is saying. I don't know, Jason, whether there might be an updated image on there now, because that was from at least half an hour ago.
Check in the chat box. You can use that link there, because my internet's pretty slow.
Oh, I'll actually go to the links that you provided me and see if I can see anything. But for the time being, there's a radar image of Linfa I don't know whether any of you guys would like to talk about the Central Pacific developments now. If you've got anything.
91C. Alrighty, let me get something on that. Give me a sec.
91C has a 6. Daniel, hello.
Hello.
Just randomly saying pardon during the broadcast.
Sorry.
I'm back.
That's quite random.
Yeah, 60% on 91C. Its location, it's getting towards 170 degrees west. Just south of 10 degrees north. What's so funny, Daniel?
Hang on, I gotta deal with something. I'll be right back.
Okay, sure. Daniel,
What?
what's so funny?
Just pardon.
Okay. And tropical depression 4E headed towards Fry. Who's speaking now?
I'm here.
Nick, hello.
I'm back. Yeah, I just had to eat
Welcome back.
some actual food.
What do you think of the Central Pacific systems?
They're not that good.
Not
Yeah,
horrible.
they aren't very strong at this moment.
Little weak things.
Little
Westpac.
weaklings.
Daniel, hello. What's so funny?
I'm
No.
sorry.
No,
So
tell
funny,
us.
Daniel.
I'm sorry.
No, you have to tell us now.
I just suddenly found the word pardon hilarious.
You found the word pardon hilarious.
Yeah.
One time I said, "Wow, I have eyes" in the car, and I just started laughing like a maniac, and everybody was like, so strict. Everybody was like,
Yeah, lots of dry air over Hawaii and northeast of that even. So I expect that 4E isn't going to have a very good time.
yeah, probably won't get strong.
And
I've returned.
excellent, Jason. What can you tell us about these systems here? Back on that color imagery there, which went from blue to red. Sorry, the middle system with only a 10% chance of development has the brightest colors there.
Oh, indeed.
Does this signify anything?
It's just very strong convection over the system.
I mean, if you just take it upon looking at that, on that imagery, you wouldn't be able to tell which one was 60% and which one was 10%, but the one on the left is actually 60%. I mean, I suppose it sort of factors in future conditions as well, which mustn't be as good for that disturbance there in the middle. But yes, let's go on to some models then, shall we? Unless anyone else has anything to say.
Here is 91C.
Oh, an imagery.
91C, and my computer's not being nice today.
Oh yes, 91C there on the left-hand side. Looking a little bit more respectable in there, actually. I think.
Yeah. It's loading, so.
Actually, the TD there, TD4E, looks the worst.
Yeah. I think misplaced priorities is the name of the game here.
Actually, I guess that it's pretty strong. Well, like the circulation's pretty good, so that's
Increase the
why
animation speed. Say 5.
All right,
Yeah, I'm gonna stop playing around with that then.
let's take
Hold
a
on.
look at the models then for the East Pacific and the Atlantic. Atlantic? What Atlantic? The CMC in the next few days. So, takes 4E, doesn't really do much with it at all, moving through Hawaii. That 10% system is this one here as well, disregarding the two other storms that are forming further east. And what becomes of that 10% affects Hawaii, not as anything much at all. And then we have two significant storms in the East Pacific, possibly two hurricanes there. And the one on the further east one becomes pretty strong, and it's been predicting this. The models, pretty much all of them, well, many of them have been predicting a very strong storm to be coming out of that 60% chance in the next 5 days on the National Hurricane Center's website. So that is one to watch, especially around 6 to 7 days out, and it hangs around and then moves west. So I don't think that's going to affect land too much. The Atlantic, no.
Atlantic is becoming a mockery of itself.
We can't bash the Atlantic too much. ECMWF model, let's see what that says. I've not looked at these yet, so I don't know what's going to come up on these. So 4E moving off towards the northwest, pretty much as it's forecasted. And then we have these two systems again in the East Pacific, our next two names. And look how it develops that 60% chance at this time. And look at it there, that's probably its peak. Cat 5, anyone?
Definitely.
Raise my hand.
That's on day 8 or day 9. Day 8, I think. And it's still there, very strong on day 9. Into day 10, it's still strong.
I'd probably estimate a pressure on that probably between 920 and 940.
I know that I've seen some people post me models that have actually shown this storm as low as 900 millibars.
Oh boy. That's intense.
That's quite something. So looking forward to that one, as long as it doesn't hit any land. GFDL,
Pray for that.
Tropical Depression 4, and you'll probably be able to see the progress of 91C on this as well. So weak tropical storm, actually 50 knots there, 50 miles per hour it showed there, 45 knots. 91C developing in the end, I think, yes, becoming a tropical storm as it enters the West Pacific at around 15 degrees north. And continuing as a tropical storm over there, and another system here further east, which may also become something. That's according to the GFDL model. GFS, the 18 Zulu run. Let's see
model.
what that says. Pretty much the same as forecast for 4E, but I suppose what we're more interested in are the two storms in the East Pac. Oh, it reversed.
That's the GFS is saying that the storm that we thought was going to be a very intense storm is not going to intensify as fast.
Well, it does still become quite something now. Look at that.
It does, yes, but not as fast.
That's at the end of it there. So I think, well, even if the GFS is saying something like that, then that's quite something.
Yeah.
Because you don't.
And then
GFS is saying.
And they're saying some extratropical systems off the east coast, extratropical.
Yeah, I did also notice that.
Yeah, they're saying that it will probably crash into California, but very weak when it does that.
Maybe.
According to my screen.
The last California hurricane that even affected California as a tropical system was San Diego hurricane of 1858.
Well, there's Nick's screen as well. Do you have any? Are you going further on that? Are you? Yeah. So very strong down there. At least it seems so. Might look a bit dramatic, I'm not sure. And then into California, and it gets lost pretty much immediately, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's very strong, Nick. That's up here, and that just leaves. Or just
Probably just going to be a surge from moisture into California by that time.
Martinez says 91C is the Western Pacific's problem since it's about to cross the date line. Well, not just yet. But it probably will end up being that way. We have some models from the HWRF showing the Western Pacific cyclones. This might be interesting, initiating Chan-Hom at pretty much what its intensity is right now. So let's see what it makes of it. Intensification up to 130 miles per hour category 4, so that's interesting, just before reaching the islands, and actually, no, 140 miles per hour. Nearly 145.
I'm about to say something funny. Okay, guys, place your bets. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen in 91C? You think it's going to be named in the Central or West Pacific?
Central for me.
Western.
Western.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I said, what do you think? Will the 91C be named in the Central or West?
I'm going to say Central.
Interesting. And there you can
I'm
see,
thinking West. I'm thinking West.
there we can see Chan-Hom making landfall just about on the edge of hurricane status, category 1 typhoon. And then will it move? Not quickly, and then it starts to move out again. And does it become a tropical storm again? Possibly just about before reaching Japan.
You can definitely see Nangka on that too.
Yes, that's what we were looking at next in a moment.
Hang on a
4E, it's also running a model on that. 42 knots there, so again, not a significant tropical storm. Just looking at anything referring to Hawaii, perhaps, but it's been saying for some time that pretty much all the models are unanimous in saying no problems for Hawaii with this storm in particular. Linfa, not much to see for Linfa anymore, is there? I don't think, but landfall there in China, not too far from Hong Kong. About what would that be? Maybe 100 miles or less. I'm not good at judging the distance there. Probably less actually. And weakening, actually moving right over Hong Kong, but only as a weak tropical depression. And then, is that a tropical storm briefly there? Yes. And then moving back out and towards Taiwan, fluctuating between TD and TS, so who knows. And finally,
It's anybody's guess.
we're not going back here, crashed on me. Who's doing that? And finally, Nangka, which might be the most interesting one. Let's see what that says. Not much intensification, sticking around the Category 4 threshold there for quite some time, then gradual weakening it seems. And then back up again, and yeah, gradual weakening trend along the whole course there. And then holding on to typhoon status for some time.
It's gonna stay out to sea.
Yes, it will be staying out to sea for some time and moving pretty slowly. Let's go back to Jason's latest imagery showing what's going on with those storms right now, and I think that model you might want to throw out the window if Nangka intensifies, by the way.
Guess so.
There they are now. You can see all three now on the Himawari imagery. I think you saw them all before, but you can see Linfa a bit better now.
I think you should try using this link, Nathan.
Well, I'm letting you do it for now.
Okay.
Chan-Hom's pretty big.
Martinez saying California really needing some rain, so tropical moisture may be the perfect miracle of somewhat ending like 20 to 40% of the drought.
Especially the fires, like the lake fire. But hopefully that's contained now, I think.
You've been tracking the fires, haven't you?
Yeah.
We're looking at the NWS. There were red flag warnings in effect for parts of California near the border with Nevada. Is that the same area you're talking about?
Most of the fires are in roughly Canada, or somewhere near
Roughly
Oregon.
Canada, or actually Canada. Further in the Pacific Northwest up there, yes. Only one in California, am I reading that right? And several in Alaska.
Yeah.
John, anything to say?
About what?
About anything.
Well, I was just saying. I was just saying that Chan-Hom is quite a big system.
It certainly is. What's Nit looking at? Is that another model there?
Me? And I'm not looking at. I'm just trying to fix my map here.
No, this
left
is the current
screen there.
distance.
Use with extreme caution.
This is
Trying to
I don't know which one.
fiddle
this
with it.
is. I think it's Nangka. No, this is Chan-Hom. And
Sageaway.
But just go back to that, just above there, I think it was. It's an interesting graphic, showing
yeah, this is
some intensification there, I'd say, yeah.
Let's say.
yeah, probably.
5.
Looks like.
And peak wind, it says at the bottom there, 132 knots.
Oh,
Bit optimistic, don't you think?
yeah, I think it is. I'm sorry, I don't have this memorized, so I'm going to have to go see this.
Okay, sure.
That would mean 132 knots. That would
That's
be,
around 153 or something, whatever.
yeah, that's cat.
Super
that's
typhoon,
Cat 4.
in any case.
This is the GFS actually
Right.
saying this.
Sea surface temperature is very warm. Is it entering a warm spot actually there? Is it, are those must be sea
Yeah.
surface temperatures, yeah?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's sea surface temperatures, and it is entering a warm spot.
Let's see if we can see it in any more clarity on the usual map that we look at. If it will load. Yeah, warmer water. It's staying actually pretty similar to what it's in right now, 30 degrees generally, and then cooling down significantly once it passes those islands. Cooler waters along the Mariana chain west of it, which might explain Nangka's weakening, especially if it stalls. And further west, South China Sea, a little cool slot near Vietnam there, interestingly. Where Linfa is right now, I'm really not surprised that it's weakening, because cold sea surface temperatures, colder, along the coast of China there. Arabian Sea, sorry, the Bay of Bengal looking fine. Arabian Sea, half and half. The Atlantic, as we were talking yesterday, pretty chilly, especially out towards the east, in particular, I should say. The west, pretty warm, I suppose, especially off the coast of Florida and along the Gulf Coast there, not looking too bad. Caribbean, not so hot. The coast of Venezuela underneath that 26-degree threshold. The East Pacific, though, is looking good, around 30 degrees along the coast of Mexico and quite a way out beyond there. So I don't see any reason why we won't see a strong storm forming there at one point or another throughout the year. Jason, is that an updated image? Yes, it is. A more recent radar image of Linfa as it approaches China. It looks much better presented on that image than it does on the satellite.
I got it visible the last 2 days. Sorry, it's a bit sluggish. I mean, not visible IR the last 2 days on my screen.
2 days worth.
Yeah, it's 2 days worth of infrared channel 4 satellite. And you can definitely see how these systems did strengthen based off this satellite. Even though it's a bit sluggish.
It is a bit.
Yeah, what do you expect for something that's on internet sometimes. Whatever. Maybe it's because I have too many tabs.
Quite possibly. Tell that to me.
Alright, I'm done having fun with this. I'm going to unscreen share that.
Here's the latest imagery of the storms. This is Chan-Hom, and I must say that is starting to look better, you know.
Yeah, definitely seeing a lot more convection within the inner wing of the storm. However, it's...
I don't know whether it's just visible imagery that's making it look better to me, but... You know,
it could be. The eyes were looking way more defined than it was yesterday. Yesterday it was just a mess.
It certainly was. So that's that. There's Linfa, and I'm still not really impressed with what's going on with that at the moment. I do think it might be disintegrating. And there's Nangka, which continues to impress me. And I think that the next update in the next JTWC update, which is around, what will it be, 3 hours from now, will be saying a stronger storm, I expect. I would think so.
I agree with that.
At least 125, I'd say. Sorry, at least 145.
So mid-range category 4.
Yeah, I'd say so. Possibly higher. Who knows?
I'm still thinking that Nangka could still be coming low in category 5, but it's...
Well, I'm not discounting that at all. If it's going to be any of these three storms, it's going to be that one.
Yeah, that has the highest probability in my opinion.
Indeed. Well, just 14 minutes left of our show, believe it or not. It's gone by pretty quickly, hasn't it? Let me remind you of what we have out there right now. So this is Chan-Hom, located in the Western Pacific. Gale warnings or gale advisories in effect for large parts of the Ryukyu Island chain of Japan, and you can see why. That storm is headed right towards them, with winds currently 105 miles per hour and could intensify before arriving. Same goes for China there as well. There's Linfa. Still a typhoon as far as we know until we hear otherwise. 75 miles per hour at this time, moving towards China. We're expecting landfall very soon. Signal 3 advisories going up in Hong Kong right now, and I expect some warnings in effect for China as well at this time, though I'm not sure exactly what. Nangka there right now, and we have some warnings in effect for that one in particular. Typhoon warning in effect for the islands of Agrihan, Pagan and Alamagan in the Mariana Islands chain. Tropical storm warning and typhoon watches in effect for Saipan and Tinian further south. We also have the situation in the Central Pacific, the weakling storms as we're calling them. Tropical depression 4E, which could develop into a tropical storm as it approaches Hawaii, but probably won't affect Hawaii too much. And Invest 91C with a 60% chance of development. And we also have developments in the East Pacific with a 60% chance in the next 5 days of a tropical storm or depression forming in that orange area, and a 30% chance of the same thing in the yellow shaded area there.
Saying Chan-Hom is also gusting up to 115. It's gusting up the Cat 3.
Chan-Hom is, yes.
Yeah.
Martinez says Nangka looks like it's going to Cat 5, maybe, just maybe. And
Agree with
also,
you.
no rain but sun and clouds for San Diego, just in time for the 2015 Comic-Con. P.S. Can't go, can't afford.
The long lines.
Oh dear me.
Long lines.
Yeah, well, I read out everything, so...
Yeah.
Unless anyone has anything to add, perhaps Daniel has something to say over there?
He's muted.
Yeah, I know, but he might want to unmute himself to say something. No? I guess not. Okay, well, I guess it's time to play Guess the Storm.
Yeah, I'll find something for you guys.
No, I've already got it.
Oh, you're good.
Let's play a highly pixelated Guess the Storm. What is it?
Okay. Looks from the
Category 4 or 3. Category. No, 4.
It's the Pacific Typhoon, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder what gave you that idea.
Obviously.
Look at the coastline I'm seeing, the Philippines and the coastline I'm seeing to the north,
Okay.
west. This might be a random guess, but is this Noel?
No, it's not. Sorry.
Is it
Noel? It's not Tiff.
It's a bit like Maggie.
I don't know.
Like Maggie, but it isn't.
I don't know. I'm pretty
Could that
sure
be,
Oh, someone's got it. 1966 Hank has got it right. He said it was Zeb, and it is.
Zeb?
it was, I don't
I
know.
don't believe you guys would have ever got that, but someone else has. Yeah,
Good thing people are paying attention.
that's the only one I've got so far, so good luck with finding another one.
Give me a sec.
The most difficult part of it is trying to find one that I've not named the storm name, because I'm not planning. I never planned to actually, do this. But there we are.
Give me a sec. I'm looking for something.
Yeah. Me too. Oh, this is interesting, actually.
Where is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's an interesting one, and you're gonna find this difficult, I think. So I might have to give out some clues. What is that? Oh,
Have you seen my screen?
someone might remember me posting them in a certain place.
I know. I know this one.
Go on,
Should I
Nick.
say it? Bong Fong.
Incorrect.
Oh. Is it?
Masak.
Yeah.
Just a random guess.
No, not Maysak either. No. I wonder if anyone out there might know. I'll give them a little bit of time, and then I'll give out a clue. Perhaps not. Well, get this, it's an Atlantic storm.
Oh, hang on. I think I might have an idea now. Is that Katrina?
Interesting guess, actually. I suppose you could say it looks a lot like Katrina, but it isn't.
Well,
Unfortunately, the ISS didn't manage to fly over Katrina, or indeed several other 2005 storms that was down that year. Not Wilma.
is it recent?
I can't say.
Okay, I'm not
It's
gonna
got to
ask.
be recent enough to look like that.
Could that be Ike?
No, it's not Ike. No.
I'm just throwing random guesses out here.
Just throw them. You throw them all over the place.
Igor.
No, it's not. Jason's turn.
I don't know. Felix?
No, not Felix.
Yeah, you're probably not very impressed with us right now.
66. Hank has got it. Again. He's beaten you to it twice. But I'll let you guys guess, because you can't be too far away, surely.
Is it
Michael?
No.
It's not
Certainly
Michael.
not.
Is it Gonzalo? No, it can't be Gonzalo.
Certainly not. Jason's closest so far, you know.
Why did I wasn't paying attention because I was finding something.
Lorenzo? No. No, not that one.
Hardly. The commenters already know, so it's 2-0 to the commenters at the moment.
Yeah. Let the commenters answer. I have no idea.
Oh dear. Well, I said Jason was closest when he said Felix.
Dean.
Yes, it's Hurricane Dean.
Oh God.
Forgot about that one, didn't we?
Yeah. Very forgetful.
I nearly said Dorian.
Yeah. Hank says he studies tropical storms intensely. That's interesting. I wonder whether he might be interested in a game of what was the game? Force 13's game shows. That might.
Yeah.
He certainly seems to be good at Guess the Storm. I can tell you that.
Yeah, he'd swoop that round in the landslide.
Certainly did. Let's try one more, perhaps.
I got one.
Okay, we'll do John's version then. One more from John, and then we'll.
Give me a second. I need to screen share that.
Oh yeah. We'll give you a little look at.
There we go.
Whilst we wait. Oh, here we are. All right, now that's interesting. It seems to have been a while ago.
It's an old school one. All right. Any ideas?
You know what we need to start doing? We need to get recent images and them to make them look old.
No, this is actually genuinely old.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. Now I might want to give a big clue away by pointing out there's a little star near the bottom of the screen that says Yap on it.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I got a good picture of it, but I'm not sure.
So I'm thinking it was a typhoon from the 70s.
Yes, it is a typhoon from the 70s.
Ooh, I'm getting closer then. That Hank person might know.
Okay, but let me type something.
Let me try and do it for the game show people. For the Force 13 team, try and get one back. Is it June?
You are right.
Fantastic.
Typhoon June with second lowest recorded pressure.
The only reason I know that, by the way, is because I've been doing June as one of my top 100 storms for Hurricane Week 2015, so I got a bit familiar with that picture amongst all the others in the top 100, so got one back for the team. Did Nick have one up that he wanted us to do as well?
I think he did.
Which one is this?
Oh, I think I might have this right off the bat. I've seen this image recently. Is that Hurricane Allison?
Yes.
Well, that was quick.
I was looking at that recently. Was that from? I don't know what year that was though. But it was one of the only. It was like one of the only hurricane storms named Allison in the Atlantic Basin that was hurricane strength.
Well,
so
that makes it 2 each at the end of that. We'll have to end on a tie because we're running out of time, and I want to summarise everything that's going on to anyone who's just joined us late. Obviously, our primary focus is to discuss what storms we have active, but we do have a bit of light and shade and do some guess the storms and other things that you may find interesting. Is Daniel asleep, by the way?
That's a good question. He hasn't said anything for the last half hour.
Oh, and he's
Michael the other night.
I might have something here if you want to do one more.
Fall asleep. So let me just recap once more what storms we have active right now. Chan-Hom, first of all. Might want to look at Jason's screen for this, actually, because he knows he's got the best imagery there. There's Chan-Hom. It's a Category 2 storm at this time. That's as far as we know. It could be a Cat 3 in the next few hours. Who knows? Certainly starting to look better. Last we knew, its wind speeds were 105 miles per hour. 1 minute sustained.
High and Cat 2.
Headed towards the northwest. Gale advisories in effect for a lot of those Japanese Ryukyu Islands, extending from Yayama all the way to Amami and possibly beyond at this point, including Daito Islands, of course, which will be getting seeing the effects from the storm first, I should imagine. Linfa over there on the left-hand side as well. That's a short-lived typhoon, we expect. Wind speed 75 miles per hour. Signal 3 warnings in effect now for Hong Kong, and I expect for Macau as well, because they usually do it in sync. And China, I expect there's some warnings in effect there as well. There's a radar image of what's going on just off the coast of China right now. And let's move on to Nangka then as well, further east. That storm, as I've been saying throughout the show, is starting to impress me quite a lot. Last we knew it was 140 miles per hour, Category 4, and that may be on an intensifying trend. Is there still a glimmer of hope for Category 5? That would be the 7th of the year.
Yep. That is something to look forward to.
Looking further east, towards the edge of the Earth, as we see it.
Looking quite blurry.
Invest 91C, which has a 60% chance of development. That's the one. Which one are you looking at there, Jason? Towards the bottom left there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
91C, with a 60% chance of development in the next 48 hours.
And to the northeast.
The northeast there, yes, indeed. 4E, the tropical depression, which may become a tropical storm. Both of them looking pretty pathetic.
When you put them in the scope of the West Pacific.
Yeah. Hank says, one question, what's everyone's current thinking on Atlantic activity for the remainder of the season?
We might get something in August. We might get something in August or September. That's pretty much where I'm playing my cards right now, because I'm not sure about July. July is out right now.
I propose, here's my proposition on the Atlantic. Something big will happen when I'm not here. I'm not here on 2 occasions. The first week of August and the last week of October. Something big will happen in those 2 weeks.
Playing my cards then. That's where I'm playing my cards.
Yep.
But quickly, what do you think your storm totals will be for the Atlantic?
Far below my predictions that I made not too long ago.
Yeah, repeat those.
I said for the year 10 tropical depressions, maybe 9 or 8 tropical storms, 6 hurricanes, maybe 2 or 3 major. I said only slightly below average, but
yeah.
It's seeming right now my totals are way off, and I'm thinking more like 7 or 8.
Nick, how about you?
I'm thinking like it probably won't get to Nicholas. It'll probably be like M.
Oh, you wanted to get to Nicholas, don't you?
Yeah, I wanted to get to Tropical Storm Nicholas.
Jason.
So it's probably going to be up to M.
Yes.
Like
Jason, different question for you because you're not really in the Atlantic, but you can answer that question if you like. But for you,
I was thinking you'll go to about G.
Okay. When do you think the first storm will form in the Australian region this year?
Maybe the western region, I think. Somewhere around Indonesia.
When do you think that'll be?
Maybe late November.
Yeah, not anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that Australian area is not going to be too active, probably because of El Nino, but I'm not 100% sure. Is it an El Nino that also the Australian waters get cooler, too?
Martinez says if Florida gets past October 24th without getting hit by a hurricane, that'll be a record, apparently.
Guess so.
And probably that will happen.
Yeah.
I could say a funny record.
Hank says I've read storm totals of 831 due to El Nino intensity in the Atlantic, so it's probably a safe number to go by, that around 831.
Yeah, it could definitely be that.
Oh, and he also says, does anyone believe the active era in the Atlantic that began in 1995 may be over? Possibly.
Maybe we already hit our active stretch of Atlantic hurricane seasons. Was the last maybe 10, 15 years? I don't know.
I know back at the start of last year I was talking about how I did a little video sort of putting out that question as well, whether the Atlantic the active period may be over. I might play that out in future on another live update, just to let you guys hear what was said. But that's pretty much it from us. Martinez just quickly says, new prediction from them saying 5 to 10 named storms, 1 to 3 hurricanes, -1 major hurricane.
Like that guy's sense of humor.
So before we go, I'd like to say that my channel is probably going to have a chat. It's probably going to have an organized event that'll happen probably about 8 o'clock tomorrow, or yeah, about this time tomorrow, or maybe 7 or 8. I don't know when.
And what's that about?
It'll be posted. It'll be sort of like this, except a lot more organized. So
that's gonna happen.
I'll plan it out. Okay.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's all from us. From myself, Nathan Foy, from Nick, who was the last voice you heard, from John, the previous last voice you heard, and from Jason, the previous last voice you heard. That's everyone there, and Daniel,
Cast an appearance.
probably merrily asleep somewhere. So from all of us here at Force 13 HQ and beyond, all around the world, our team members, if you'd like to send us a message or contact us, you can send us a message, or for me personally, at force-13@hotmail.co.uk, or you can send us a message or visit our Facebook and Twitter page of Force 13. We've also, Marcel, one of our other team members, set up Instagram page for us too, which is interesting. I don't really get that sort of thing, but we're also on there. Search Force 13 in text. You can also add me on Skype, add Fool13, all in numerals that time, so Fool and number 13, and you can also join our chat room on Skype as well if you so wish. It's a pretty hectic place, but that's where we have all sorts of chatting going on when we're out of hours on our live feeds. But that's all from us for now, and we'll see you again probably tomorrow, same time, same place. Goodbye.
Ciao.
Bye. Bye. It was nice to meet you.